Nebraska Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, state leaders are implementing a plan they say is groundbreaking.
6 News' Taylor Johnson joins us with their plan to speed up support for families.
Kyler Reed was just 5 years old when doctors found several developmental disabilities.
He got diagnosed with ADHD, autism, and then a few years later, he got diagnosed with epilepsy.
For nearly 7 years, Kyler was on a wait list for developmental disability services from the state. Some of those included Medicaid, a benefit that could have saved Reed a lot of money.
It would have been nice if, he got it a couple years ago, just because of all the doctor's appointments.
Most recently, over 2,500 people were on the waiting list for services, many for up to 8 years. That was until an announcement made Thursday by Governor Jim Pillen and Tony Green of the Department of Health and Human Services.
It's really high priority that we get rid of this unacceptable waiting list.
Governor Pillen says the new approach will adapt to meeting a person's changing needs for comprehensive services by age range.
It'll be additional access to family support and day services waivers that allow families to live together, case management services for individuals that do not require waivers services, and employment services.
Folks will apply, and we will have case managers and social workers meeting with you to determine what you need.
Leaders say the $18 million investment will take around 12 to 18 months to roll out. Getting certain approvals from the federal government is part of the process.
Once we tackle that, then our process really will become apply, and we'll figure out what your needs are, and we're going to be able to meet those for you.
On your side in Omaha, Taylor Johnson, 6 News.
Green says he plans to host town halls to answer the community's questions and concerns related to this change.